Fellas, say goodbye to Chuck Sherman the boy. I am now a man. I highly recommend you join the club. We are doing the wild thing all night.
Acid house music.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Sherm.
Sherman, I cook all this food. Is that all you gonna eat?
General Sherman realized and understood the importance of house music.
So, do you know anything about techno?
No.
Listen.
Get it on.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm, of course, your host, Sherm. Today is Wednesday, August 11, 2021, and this is episode 173. And I gotta say, I am so excited to share this amazing dynamic duo story. Episode 173 features EDM's favorite husband and wife duo, the Two Fake Blondes. I caught up with Petey and Hannah recently and had a blast getting their full story. We got it all in for episode 173 and started by talking about their early inspirations and influences. Petey and Hannah were born and raised on opposite ends of the U.S., Petey upstate New York and Hannah Seattle, Washington, and they both grew up with music as a major part of their lives. Hannah is a naturally gifted singer who was already in recording studios at 7 years old, and Petey started producing in high school and fell in love with it right away. Eventually, their paths crossed in 2016 in Nashville, and they eventually got married a few years later. Aww! Now, of course, I wanted to ask about how they became the Two Fake Blondes. Petey was actually already having success pursuing his own solo career in electronic music, and when they were together, Hannah had actually already given up on it. They had a moment after a random show in Portland that sparked a new wave of collaborative creativity between them, and they decided to join forces. Petey would construct and produce the tracks, and Hannah would songwrite and sing the vocals. Now, we of course talked about the Two Fake Blondes discography so far, and I had so much fun running through all their releases and hearing about the inspiration for the lyrics and the production process that went on behind the scenes to bring these tracks to life. We talked about releases like Lifeline, my personal favorite, Good For You, and Insecurities, which came out on Bring the Kingdom, shout out to our guy King Topher, and the story of how they all came together. All of their tracks are amazing, and they always put forth their full effort to make them special and unique. I gotta say, this interview was authentic in every single way. We talked about finding yourself, heartbreak and true love, and finding creativity in places you least expect it. I'm such a big fan of these two, and they are truly inspiring on many levels. Thanks so much again for coming on the show, guys, and let's get into it right now so you can hear their story for yourselves. This is episode 173, featuring the Two Fake Blondes. Hello, welcome everybody to a very special episode of Sherm in the Booth. I'm coming to you live from Chicago, Illinois, and we're here with the Two Fake Blondes out in Seattle, Washington. How the hell are you guys?
What's up?
We're doing
so
good.
good. We're so happy to be here. We are pumped.
Yep.
Yeah, me too. Like I said before we went live, I'm such a big fan of you guys, your productions, your style. Your music strikes like a soft chord in my heart. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but like...
As a songwriter, it's like, oh my gosh, that's the best compliment.
Seriously, I don't know what it is. Like I should have taken a video for you guys, but I'm doing like a timeshare on a boat here in Chicago, and it's like the best thing you can do in Chi-Town. And of course, everyone's like, we need you to DJ. And I don't like DJing on Spotify because then I'm just like not having that good of a time. But I was in the zone, found a good playlist, and then started queuing up some. I put on Lifeline in like the middle, right at the right moment. And we were with all these girls and just like good energy. And they were like, what song is this? And I was like, wait for the drop.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'll play it again. Yeah, I'll play it again for them. But they all asked about it. And I was like,
oh my gosh,
you guys got to check them out. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
Thank
too.
you.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
You guys make music that like puts you, and I want to ask you about this when you produce, but it kind of puts you in a headspace. Like I feel like I'm somewhere when I listen to your guys' music. And I think that's really, really special.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's
We love hearing that.
fantastic.
Because,
Like that's incredible feedback for us because we do put so much thought into what we're writing, what we're doing with our writing as a brand, like as the Two Fake Blondes. And one of our tactics, what we do when we're writing is like, okay, what's the song I'd want to hear if I was just got through a breakup and I'm sitting in my car crying?
Wow.
What's the song I'd want to turn on the radio and hear? What's the song I'd want to hear if I was getting ready with my friends and like super pumped and had to turn a song on?
Yeah.
And so we love,
Like
or for a
channel
Lifeline, like what's the song you want to hear if you need to encourage your friends, like whatever that is. But we love thinking. I learned that a long time ago in Nashville and writing in Nashville. And it's like, put yourself in the position for what you would need to hear at that time. So we really try to do that with every single one of our songs that we write.
Yes. Well, you're doing a pretty good job so far, because every song is a hit, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And Petey, DJ to DJ, you know, the highest form of a compliment is if you download the song and it immediately goes on the USB. I'm not just harding that on Spotify.
That is.
You know, bro, you know what I'm talking about.
That is the highest compliment.
It is. Yep. I could say, yo, that track bangs, but like if I tell you it's on the USB.
Oh man.
Yeah, you know.
Right here, man.
Because there's multiple steps. The other people,
you record box, you got to drag it into your playlist. You got to put your
It's got to go to record box. We got to analyze that track. I got to line up the beat grid. I got to make sure we're good to go. It's got to be the right moment.
That is so good.
Dude, oh man.
Hats off, my guy. Hats off.
Yeah, dude. That means so much.
Absolutely. Speaking of DJing, you guys just had your first show together, right? In Nashville?
Yes, it was our first show.
It was amazing.
Right before COVID, we had like all of our first shows lined up, and we were super pumped. And of course, you know, what happened.
Yeah.
And we even at the beginning of last year, like we just started practicing our set. We were like, we're gonna play.
Yes.
So we were just like, with all this blind faith, just being like, sounds good. And that show we played in Nashville, we actually got asked to play like 5 days before it happened. And we were like, yes, let's go. We will play anywhere because we're so excited to play. Yeah. And man, we had a freaking blast.
Yeah.
Like it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
You guys certainly have an energy. So what, like how much was, I know actually you guys have your own YouTube channel where you discuss like what you're going to play. How much thought went into that set? I mean, you only got 5 days notice. Was it like an immediate turnaround, or you had already been prepared?
We already been preparing like a couple months prior. I think it was in March, actually. We were just like, we're going to start really dialing in. Like, I think we were working on like a 30, 45 minute set. Just like, let's figure out what we want it to look like. And let's just keep practicing. And, you know, we had been so used to being in the studio for a while. So being able to rehearsal room together and just like have ideas and jump around. And
it was so much fun. We were just like, let's just pretend we have a show booked and do every single step we need to do to plan a set. So we know that we can put it together and get ready to go.
We had like 10 different set lists with all these like arrows and like drawings.
We have it like listed in colors, like we see songs in color, and we have like all these, and they're all taped up on the wall.
I was like, wait, what are we doing?
No, I wish I could have been there. Hannah, you looked like a workout instructor too. I think you probably wore that outfit because you knew you were going to sweat, but I was like, she's freaking getting it.
Yeah, it was the most athletic. Like I prepared athletically for that set.
You did.
Not only is because, you know, I used to do country music, and obviously dance music requires, like, I want to bring a ton of energy to our set. Like I want to be having as much fun as the people in the audience are having with our music. And so I was like, I need to be able to sing and dance around at the same time. And so that's taken a lot of training with endurance and lung capacity. But it was 30 minutes straight up cardio, singing at the same time.
Jumping up and down. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Ditch the high heels, wore the Nikes.
Some dope Nikes. Yeah.
That's some swag. Yeah. And you got to have that sort of like raw power and raw energy when you're performing. I feel like in the years past, the stigma of a cool DJ is like, I'm too cool to be here. I'm not even going to look up at the crowd. There are some, and those are the ones that really are doing the best. But you guys, like, you play great music, but like your energy clearly is what is going to keep going too, and get more fans and real fans, and they're going to spread the word. People like me. So that was just awesome to see. And I'm glad to see you guys performing too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's like our ultimate, you know, like we want to be able to tour every country at some point. And that's where I know my home is on stage. Like that's where I feel the most connected to what my particular purpose is in my life. On stage. So it's just like, it's such a thrill, and it's incredible to get to meet the fans and talk to people after and really, really connect in the music language. It's so incredible.
And you really taught me like the kind of like the beauty of performing, because I've resonated with what you just said, Sherm, about like when I came up in DJing, kind of the thing was, you don't have to talk to crowds. You just do your own thing. You play your own music, you just vibe, and that's it. Which was like, you know, it was cool just to be able to get a feel for what it's like to be on stage. But when we started our project, you brought all of your experience into like, no, we have to perform. We got to put on a show. Like, look at Skrillex, look at Diplo. Look at how, like, bring people, like, take them to a whole different level. So getting to work on that with you has been really special. So it just makes me now like even more excited. Like, I like performing, but now I truly love performing. And yeah, can't wait to keep going.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. It's clear you guys have found your true passion in life, and obviously you guys are such an amazing couple, but we got to take it back in time because you both have a very different history in music too. We're going to start with Hannah just because she's on the country. Where exactly did you grow up and when did music come into your life?
Yeah, so I grew up in a really little tiny small town of Stanwood, Washington.
Stanwood, Washington.
Oh, Stanwood, Washington. A little farming town, really. It's kind of like the typical, I grew up in a small town story.
Yeah.
It was about 45 minutes north of Seattle. And, I started taking voice lessons when I was like 5 years old. My music teacher kind of pulled my parents aside and was like, hey, just so you know, like your daughter is actually really naturally talented with her singing, but she has this kind of twang in her voice that I'm not sure where it's coming from. So I'm trying to get her to stop doing that. The initial thing. And my parents would say too, like even at church, like I'd be able to just like clap along when I was like 3 with like the beat. And I just naturally loved music. And so my first time in a recording studio was actually when I was 7 years old.
My God.
So before that happened, there was this moment in my life, one of the pivotal moments when I had like this huge old karaoke machine that my aunt had given me or something. And I told my parents and my brother, I have an older brother, I said, you guys, I want to do a concert for you. And if you please could all, stop what you're doing and come to my concert after dinner. That would be great. So I like spent like 20 minutes just belting out Celine Dion songs at the top of my lungs. And then when I was finished, I said, I would like to be a singer. And
that was the moment.
And I said, this is what I want to do. And I am like very, very blessed because my parents were like, they tell it this way. They said, we sat down and we said, well, if she wanted to play the violin, like what would we do? We would support what she's trying to do.
Amazing.
So from there, my parents were like, okay, great. Well, you have to also learn the music industry at the same time because you can't just be singing and going out and la-di-da and then not know what you're doing for the business.
So true.
Yeah, and which was so awesome that they had that instinct. My mom's an entrepreneur, so she had that instinct too. And then by the time I was 12, I had a full band of adults.
Who is she? Petey, who is she?
I know, it's amazing.
Your parents sat you down and said, 10 years old, said, we're getting you an LLC right now.
It's time.
Okay. You're legit. Continue. I got you.
So I started a little bit prior to that. I started like doing the fair circuit, and I'd bring like my CD with burnt songs, karaoke tracks. Like my mom would have to sit on her PC and like time out the songs with some weird software that no one knew about.
Yeah.
Like 12 song CDs with just enough seconds for me to say a couple words in between the songs. And I would take them all around the fair circuit in Washington and would sing my little heart out. And then I graduated to a band and starting to tour with the bands. And then I feel like my story really got started when someone found me on MySpace when I was 13, and this woman said, hey, you should come to the songwriting camp because you're really talented, and it's like 3 Nashville songwriters, and you come there and you get to go horseback riding and learn how to write music. And I was like, well, let me ask my mom. I was like, I gotta talk to my mom first. I don't know who you are.
I know those days, yeah.
And at that age, I was kind of like, well, I don't want to leave for like 10 days during the summer. But for some reason, my mom had this instinct, like, we should go. I'll take you and we'll go and we'll do this. Yeah. And I ended up meeting ended up being my producer for 5 years after that at that camp, which made me start going to Nashville. Mm-hmm. So I started traveling to Nashville and LA when I was 14 and songwriting in Nashville with top hit songwriters at 15 years old, and made my first record when I was 16.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and at that same time, I was just doing like, I stopped going to public high school. I did independent study, and like my senior project was making an album, and PE was performing on stage, touring.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
I wish that was my school experience.
It was a really cool program. It's in the state of Maine. I've never been there.
You're so much cooler than me and Petey. It's like so obvious. We're just house DJs.
I know. I just like mix tracks, you know, like
That's awesome though. Very cool. And it's so amazing that you had supportive parents like that really gave you that chance. I mean, a lot of people don't have parents like that.
I know. That's usually the story that I hear from people. And so I feel there's not really like a day that goes by that I don't think about that in some capacity of how I also want to be that for like our children at some point too, is like supporting their dream and what they want to do and being able to champion them and watching what it evolves and grows into.
Amazing. What an awesome story. What about you, Petey? Where are you from originally?
I'm from upstate New York in Rochester. So I just said that like with a really Rochester. I was like, Rochester.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I was like, hold on a second.
Rochester? Rochester. We're going to clip that. That was good. Yeah.
So I'm from Rochester.
Okay.
And it's close to like, you know, Buffalo area. It's like an hour from there. So if you're familiar with it. But I grew up there. I got into music probably. It started with the recorder in second grade, and then
hot cross buns.
The trumpet, and then the trumpet changed my life, man. I was like, I was playing those like Indiana Jones tunes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like, so for 4 years I was like loving the trumpet, and that was like, you know, after school would go to concert band practice, which is hilarious. But once once eighth grade hit, I realized I got super into rock and roll music, and I was like, I can't play this on the trumpet. It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound the same. So that's when I started to get into guitar and started learning electric. I was super into like the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, and I was like, I'm just gonna grow my hair out, and I'm just gonna like play like Jimmy Page, and this is just gonna be my life. And it was amazing. I got to learn so much about music and performing, soloing, all that stuff. So that eventually graduated into me like learning about hip hop, and got into like Kanye West was probably like the main influence. And around that same time, I got some music production software. I got Reason 3, I think it was. And that just kind of like started getting my ideas flowing, how to put them, how to kind of make a track on a computer. And I actually still have one of my first tracks. And it's rough.
Yeah.
But
I think I have heard. Yeah.
It was like I remember I was thinking, no one's made anything like this.
Yep.
But like, I mean, there's like a little bit of pride that goes into that too. It's like, you know, it's cool to see where you started and how far you've come.
We should use it to open a set one day.
I know.
Definitely.
I know.
Yeah, he might pass out.
People might leave the building, but hey, it's.
Gosh. So when were you guys both exposed to electronic music? I mean, it sounds like you were doing country, you're doing rock, some hip hop, but when did you actually say, okay, I think I like this dance music?
For me, it was like 2011. That was my freshman year of college. And nice. A good friend of mine. Yeah.
You're going to say levels. You're going to say levels, aren't you?
Dude, I am going to say
levels. It's okay. Right. Same here, bro. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a safe space. Okay. It's all right.
I like levels, baby. Yeah. I remember at the time, that song got a lot of shade at the time, but it's amazing. But like a good friend of mine, now he lived the dorm right next to mine, and he was always bumping like EDM, and it was Tiesto, Avicii, Alesso.
Yep.
And I remember for the first month I hated it because I was like, this music sucks, man. Like, have you heard Kanye West? Like, just like, yeah, I was a snob, and I didn't really understand too. Like, I just thought there was so much repetition, and I didn't really understand it. But eventually, like after like a month and a half or so, something clicked, and I started to really like get into it. And it was Levels. That was like the first track, like the euphoric, feel of that. And so my friend taught me how to DJ. We ended up forming our own EDM show on the college radio station. So all of that like really blossomed in my love for electronic music. And I remember, I think 2012, I was live streaming Ultra, and I got to see Armin van Buuren's set, and I like started crying, and I was like, this is the music I need to make.
Crying on the live stream.
Dude, it was powerful though.
I feel you. Yeah, that's so funny.
I've never seen a show like that. So that's kind of where it started for me.
Where'd you go to college?
I kind of hopped around, but I started at Ithaca College in New York.
Yeah.
Went to the University of Buffalo, and then eventually graduated from Roberts Wesleyan College, which is in Rochester as well.
Okay, so upstate New York the whole time though, which isn't traditionally known for its electronic music culture, right?
Not at all.
Yeah, I went to Indiana University in Bloomington, which is a bigger Big Ten school, and they were bringing in DJs, but when I would watch like the Ultra live stream, my friends would be like, dude, like, why are you watching that on your iPhone right now? And I'd be like in the corner, like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, I've been waiting on this, and it's an hour ahead, and I'm like at the bar, like, come on, anybody else want to watch this? So I know what you mean by like not really being surrounded by people that are so about it. And it's not like a lonely experience, but I don't know. I didn't really run into people that shared the level of passion for electronic music until after college too.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah, same story, bro. What about you, Hannah?
Yeah. So before I met Pete, I mean, one of the artists I love was Skrillex. One of my earliest memories of listening.
Hell yeah.
Was like with my little tiny blue MP3 player in web design class in middle school. And I would just listen to Skrillex and just code my little heart out.
Yeah. Wow.
And Avicii as well. I mean, of course, made a huge impact. But it wasn't until I started dating Pete that I went to see a live electronic show and watch him DJ. And so once I
you were hooked. Come on.
Exactly.
The cool DJ. Yeah, there you go. He's like, I know.
I know. It was so good. So it was just so cool because he knows, I mean, everything about dance music. He knows so much of the history of dance music. And so I felt like I got this awesome like immersion by going to his shows and then seeing his friends play like different kinds, like bass music and stuff, and just being like, wow, this is really, really neat. And started kind of picking up on the different things that I really loved about it. And then of course started listening to more of it because we were dating. And we just had such this huge shared experience of just loving music. It didn't matter the genre, but just like how much we loved like the details and nuances of music. And so, he was really my gateway. He was my gateway drug. Petey Mac was my gateway drug of dance music.
Everybody's got their vice, Han. Everybody's got their vice. I understand. Where did you guys originally meet? Was that in Nashville then?
Yes.
2016.
2016.
Let's hear the story. Let's hear it. I got to hear it. Is it two different perspectives? Should we go the guy and the girl? Because there's always two different stories, isn't there?
I mean, I don't think so. We're pretty on the same page. I think.
We always have like a family dinner table version of it, and then we have like the actual version of the story.
Okay, let's go actual version.
So we were at a music video release party. Well, we only laugh because it's like a thing that people do all the time in Nashville. And we were on Demumbrian, which if people are familiar with Nashville, that's also funny. And we were at this little bar, and I was with my boyfriend at the time, and Pete was there, and I met him, and I didn't really know anyone else. And he was there, and he had dark hair, braces. Tiny little triangle glasses on.
He wants to see a picture.
A plaid red shirt. And jeans.
Oh yeah.
And I was introducing him. And he was so nice.
Yeah.
He was the only person that talked to me.
That's all he had.
So nice. He smiled the whole time. And I just remember thinking, that Pete guy is just, he's so nice.
That's what every guy wants to hear. Yeah, I'm so nice.
Classic things for me is if like I told people I did like web design, like guys would always try to ask me web design.
Right.
So Pete was like, oh, cool, I might need a website sometime. Like we were just talking about that for some reason. But like I just remember him being like super, super nice. Obviously I was dating someone and it was his friend. Which was totally fine. And Pete was just the best. He was just so nerdy and so nice. Braces and all.
Wow.
That's how we initially met.
Yep.
That's a pretty on par story, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So from there, we were just friends through the person I was dating. I encouraged this person to make Pete in his band. I tried to get Pete a girlfriend.
Yep.
I was like, we need to double date.
Yeah.
You need to
Oh my God.
And then he had like this glow up. He like went platinum blonde. He got his braces off.
Yeah.
He like all of a sudden started dressing fashionably. and that was fun. I was like, oh my gosh, now Petey's so cute. We have
Oh my gosh.
And that horrifies me now. that kind of stuff. But you know, it was all fine. And I remember you would be like, hey, can you bring me some sparkling water to rehearsal? And like I would pick stuff up and I was like, oh, Petey's just
Period,
so nice.
baby.
Yeah, baby.
Oh my gosh. So eventually I went through a really, really bad breakup. Went through a huge breakup with this person. And Petey was the only one out of our entire friend circle who didn't unfollow me on social media.
Yeah.
And months after the breakup happened, like Pete would always leave just like an encouraging little comment on stuff. I was obviously going through a hard time. I was obviously trying to like find my own inspiration and kind of like have this moment of, okay, who am I? Why do I keep dating horrible people? I need to like this, what I wrote our song Good For You about. I just needed to become good for myself again. And Pete was just like so kind with his encouragement. And he at the time had posted one night about like this church he was going to. And it just sounded by what he shared, like he had gone through something similar. So I was like, I'm just going to DM him. And we ended up having a 5-hour conversation on Instagram that night via DM. Like not kidding. Like we just laid on our floors and just
like having a heart to heart. That's it was really like a heart to heart.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so we like went to church together. Like he invited me the next week, and then our first date was a 6-mile run.
But I asked her all the like tons of questions.
He talked the entire. Okay, he's like 3 feet taller than me, and he talked the entire 6 miles.
Oh my gosh!
So much fun, but I was like trying
He's
to like
a talker. Yeah. Dude, you're built different, man. I love running too, but people that are talking the whole time, I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Shut up. Please stop talking.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we met, and then
we ended up dating for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
then I broke up with him because he was just, you know, needed to have some time.
Yeah,
wake up call.
Yeah, there was definitely there were some things that just like needed to be changed in my own. I knew in my own life, and just who I was.
I mean, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah, same. But like we basically like we broke up for like 3 months.
Yeah, totally. Like straight up, like never speaking to each other again. Yeah. Like it's over, move on.
I thought Hannah was moving back to Washington and never coming back to Nashville. Like just thought kind of the whole thing was over. But we also like, I don't know, something kind of kept pressing on me. Like even a month after we broke, I'm like, okay, shoot, like I know I'm changing and I need to like let her know because I feel like she's the one for me. And like there's, despite all the bad things that happen, I really think like that we can really make this work and like kind of come together and be an amazing power couple.
Yeah.
So, but it took time. It took a lot of time.
It did take time. Yeah. And I feel like our breakup was like the best thing that could have ever happened to us because after we broke up, like coming back together, like we chose each other.
Exactly.
We weren't like, oh, infatuated or codependent or just like in love. We were like, okay, after we totally thought this would never happen, I actually want to be with you.
Yeah.
And he actually wanted to be with me. And we're like, okay, let's make this choice to choose to love each other.
Yeah.
And
so like we had to go through that.
We had to go.
Definitely. Sometimes it's not seeing like what you want, it's realizing what you don't have. I had a similar experience with my girlfriend. I took her to junior prom 11 years ago, guys. We went to college together.
That's so cool.
Exactly. And she broke up with me, like the person I was becoming. I thought I had to be a frat superstar or thought I had to do this and that. And that was never me. But I had to realize who I'm not to discover who I am. And then we got back together a year into after moving to Chicago. You know, we talked and crossed paths and stuff, but once we got back together, it's just never been stronger. And it's been about 5 years since then. So
that is so cool. Amazing. That like gives me chills because it's just so cool to be able to go through that. Yeah. And like you said, find out who you don't want to be, which makes you realize who you want to be. And that is so powerful.
So powerful.
Yeah, exactly. So I resonate with everything you guys just said. And my girlfriend, usually she's in the other room listening to the interview. She's not here right now though, but I'm going to make her listen to that part.
Yeah, there you go.
That was a good line. That was a good line.
Yeah, that was a good.
Petey gets it. Yeah, you get it. Shout out to Maya. Awesome. So during this time though, Petey, you were pursuing music full time on a solo career, right?
Yeah, I was doing that. I was also playing with a band as well. I was doing like keys and stuff for them, and they were doing really well. They were selling out shows in Nashville. We got to play South by Southwest. Yeah, and I was like, but even when I was with them, I was kind of like, there was still something. I mean, like, this isn't really what I want to do. And again,
it was cool, but it wasn't you.
Exactly. And
I was over here like,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was watching you. I was not looking at him. Yeah, I was at your face.
But you like continue.
Proceed.
But yeah, I mean, I was definitely like doing my own thing, and it was going through that process of, again, like figuring out who you don't want to be. And going through that whole process, be like, okay, once we got back together and kind of redefine, okay, I know this is what I want, like as a career perspective, and I know this is who I want to be as a person, and these are the steps I'm taking. I feel like, from that breakup on and coming back together, it was like a really transformative time in so many different areas of my life. And as hard as it was so worth it. It was worth it to put the work in.
Yeah. So special. Amazing. Did you guys ever, like, during that time after the breakup, like, decide we want to do this together? You're just having fun in the studio? Like, when did the two fake blondes become real then?
We never
did music together. So interesting enough, like when Pete and I met, I had actually quit music. Like, I had been in the industry since I was 12 years old. And I went from being able to tour with a band and make an income. And after my producer ended up passing away, my mentor and producer, he passed away when I was 18. And I actually decided to move to Nashville after that happened. But at the same time I moved to Nashville, that meant like leaving my band and kind of moving in a different direction, more towards the industry. After a few years of being industry driven, I was so heartbroken. Like, I was waking up every single day without like having that fan connection. Like, every day I started waking up just like heartbroken about what hadn't happened, or what was happening, or where I wasn't, or where I wish I would have been. And so I came to this point in 2016 where I was like, I just have to remove singer from Hannah. Like, I have to know that Hannah doesn't have to be, like, singer doesn't need to have to be attached to my name. Like, as who I am as a person, like, I just need to be Hannah, and I need to be okay with her and know that she doesn't have to have this label attached to her. So when I say, like, I left music behind, I did it in a way to be like, I'm not identifying with Hannah, the singer, anymore. Like, I'm just me. So if someone asks me if I'm doing music, the answer is no, because I need to feel what that felt like. And it was just some really big decisions that led up to it. I was actually in a really good place by a lot of standards in my career, and working with people that I only dreamt of working with. But because of certain circumstances, I just knew it wasn't going to lead me in the right direction for who I was in my life. So I made a decision to back down from situations and just take a break. So when Pete and I met and started dating, I was just like, I do web design. I was like, I just run my business. That's all I do. I don't do music.
You didn't say anything about music, right?
We just bonded. We bonded over. We bonded more so about music we liked. That was like we stay up till like 5 a.m. listening to music together. Like, it was, it was ridiculous and amazing. So he knew like about my past with music. He'd never like, I wouldn't be like singing with my guitar. Like, I couldn't even touch my guitar. It made me like heartbroken to even look at it. Like, it was a lot. I had to deal with a lot of things. But I was so excited for him because I had so much experience in the music industry. I was like, oh my gosh, I like just championed him like immediately with his music and like his DJing. And I was like so excited for him. And then I was really excited to I'm like, well, maybe I went through all of that so I could support this person who's going to be my husband and give him as much advice as I can, and like help him manage stuff and like help him like with his career. So we had started, that in that capacity, but we had never talked about, thought about, dreamt about ever creating music together until 2018.
Everything changed.
2019. Sorry.
Do it again.
That was good. It was still very dramatic.
Yeah, but like at 2019, it was right after our first wedding anniversary. And we were in Portland. We saw a band we really liked called Band Camino, and we like had this amazing experience at the show.
Yeah.
And
there was something about like this band that just seeing them perform and like watching them sell out like this smaller theater, which I love small theaters. It's like the best venues ever.
Yeah.
And while we were in like watching them play and their fans like just like adoring them, knowing every word, like you could just tell they're working their butts off. They're super talented. Right. And I was like, I had that moment where I was like, I feel like this could have been what I was supposed to be. Like, I feel like this could have been me. And it made me feel like sad in my heart, and this like, almost like this death and this birth of like this dream, like all of a sudden, like made me feel conflicted for the first time in like 3 years or so.
Yeah, because you were so dead set on music being part of your past.
Yeah, exactly. It was the end. And so I felt this tug, and I was like, remember we were walking to our car, like after we checked out of our hotel the next morning, and we were talking about it. And I told Pete, I was like, I felt something pulling at my heart, but like, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to open up that part of myself.
Yeah. And I mean, even like for me, from an artist standpoint, like leading up to that point, I was enjoying like putting out tech house stuff. I got some really amazing opportunities, whether it was doing like official remixes or just like putting out like tracks I thought were cool. But I felt like as a creative, I was sort of, I mean, it was just me. I was a one-man team, and I was like kind of running into a wall thinking like, where do I want to take this? And kind of around that time in 2019, I was really getting into like more like vocal house stuff, and especially like MK and Calvin Harris.
Yes.
You know, like, and just like their ability to use vocals with house music in such a like incredible way. Yeah. And so when Hannah told me, I think the idea like came to me like having like teaming up with Hannah probably a month before we saw the show, and I was like, probably not a good idea. She probably doesn't want to even think about, you know, doing this. Yeah. And, you know, whatever. But then you brought that up to me, and I started thinking about it again and again.
Well, and I'll pause you too, because like I was so focused in a different direction. Like my business was like growing very rapidly. I was speaking to women. I was like speaking at events. Like I was doing like a totally different thing, and then helping you with music.
Yeah. And when you shared that with me, that I kind of had that like tug of being like, oh, this could change things. Yeah. So I think was it a couple days later or something
if it not on the way home from Portland. Like it was very close within those next couple of days.
And that's when I brought it up to you, and I was like kind of like really like sheepish about it. I was like
so I have an idea.
Like would you want to like team up? Do like vocals and house music together?
Yeah, it's kind of like dopey. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know. No, you did call it.
But I had some music to show you too. I had like a playlist of like kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. And I felt like too, like in the way that he said it, because I did not marry you with that voice.
I know.
But you did present it. You were like, hey, I was thinking lately. I mean, you did stumble around it a little bit that what if we teamed up together? What if you came and started writing with me and everything? And it was just like, hell yes. Like it was immediately yes. And I felt like honored. Like it's funny to say that because like we talk about everything. We know we've always been like huge to communication. Like we talk about everything that's going on in our life. But I like literally felt honored because I thought so highly of his talent. Mm-hmm. Like he's so talented. Like
he was killing it. Yeah.
He is so talented. Like I think he is a genius musically. And so I was like, really? Like, do you mean that? Like you really want you want to not give up what you're doing, but like he was growing too. Like he was doing a lot of opening slots, and like you were getting on Spotify editorials. Like his career would have been continued to go upward without me. Yeah. And so I was just like, do you really mean this? Like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes. And it was just done. Yeah. It was a done deal.
And we started writing music shortly after, and it was just like that excitement too of just like being able to do it together.
Yes.
You know, is like the best thing. And we were both so hyped at the beginning. And I feel like that excitement has never faded.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so special. I mean, it's like I talked about before we went on air. You just want to do something that's so fulfilling to you. You don't want to do it for anybody else, but like, what is going to make me happy without anyone else's approval? And the fact that Petey took that moment to say, I don't really care about all the success that I'm having. I want to do this with you. I want to share this with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we immediately, I remember like right after we had that conversation the next day, we like went to a coffee shop and we were like, before we start this venture together, we need to write down a why.
Yeah.
Like, what is our why? And we both separately, we still have those pages.
Yeah, we do. We
both separately sat down and wrote down, like, what is our why behind this new music project before it was the Two Fake Blondes? Music venture, like, what is the actual why? Because when the hard days come and the hard seasons come, we need to have that to look and reflect on. So.
Absolutely. It's always exciting in the beginning. And I think we all know, like you both explained, you plateau. It doesn't mean that you're stopping. Sometimes you could even go down, but the fact that you're still going.
Yep,
exactly.
Yep.
So hard. It's so hard to continue. And I think that's why a lot of people, I mean, they fail because they quit, and it's so easy to, but you guys are a great team, and you've released some incredible music, like special stuff. Special stuff. And I'm so excited to ask about the details of this because you kind of, I mean, you don't have a template or a formula, but it's really cool to hear one song and then listen to another one and hear that you have this influence and this style, and the songwriting is so unique. Your first track, If You Really Love Me, that was the first one you released, right?
Let's check out the Two Fake Blondes' first release, If You Really Love Me, on Game Room Records.
Let me go, let me make it on my own. Oh, if you really love me, if you really love me, then love me. If you really love me, then trust me. If you really love me, then love me. If you really love me, then trust me. If you really love me, then love me. If you really love me, then trust me. If you really love me, then love me. If you really love me, then trust me. If you really love me, if you really love me, if you really love me, if you really love me,
yes.
Why was that the first one? How long had you been working on that? Was it like a little bit nerve-wracking? Like, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this?
That was probably the one we completed the fastest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As soon as we started, we're like, okay, let's start with like season 1 is just going to be a season of writing. And we just wrote like, there would be days where we would write like 3 or 4 songs in a day.
Yeah.
Like it was just, I hadn't written, and I'd been like in years, and I went from writing like 6 days a week with people to not writing for 3 years.
We basically went to Guitar Center. We got the mic we needed.
We did.
And like speakers, and we just set up and like started going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember If You Really Love Me, it was so awesome because for country music, like I fell in love with it because you can tell a story and people are listening, period.
Yeah.
So you can, talk about all this stuff and people are listening to the lyrics and the content of it, and you can tell a story. But with dance music, it was actually cool because, country music's like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. I'm done.
Right.
Dance music, I was like, oh my gosh, there's not a box for me to be in. I can really write in any way that I want to. And so I actually thought it was awesome. I was like, cool. It was like, If You Really Love Me was like 2 lines. And I was like, I'm done writing for this. I was like, it was so cool to me that could happen. Yeah. It's like, let's just write these 2 different pieces of the song. And then Pete turns it around and turns it into the entire track. So it was one of the first songs that we finished, and we pitched it and got it signed for our first one. And we were so excited.
Let's go.
Game Room Records, right? You guys have released 3 tracks with them. Pete, it looks like you had released with them in the past, so you have a good relationship with them, obviously. Can you tell me about them?
Yeah, so I had released, a friend of mine had introduced me via email to their A&R guy. And at the time, and this was maybe like 2 years ago, she was like, he's looking for like piano house tracks.
Yeah.
And I had a couple on my hard drive, so I gave him one, and the first one was the one he signed, and that one ended up going on like all these Spotify editorials. And since then, I've built a good relationship with him, released a track, and then when we were working on If You Really Love Me, that was the first label in my mind of being like, I think we can find a home for it here. I think we can kind of quickly get it signed, get it out, the start of 2020. And so
yeah. It did really well too. It's still doing really well, like streaming wise.
Yeah.
You guys got a little stamp of approval, like, okay, we're doing something, right?
I know, exactly. Yeah, it was. I just remember being like so excited when that song came out. Yeah, and it still to this day is one of those tracks that I still wouldn't change anything about. I was like, that was a solid solid vocals, solid writing, solid track.
Yeah.
And I love that song.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It's so easy to want to go back and change a track. That's like the producer's ear. It's like you hear it mastered, you play it at the club, play it for your friends, and then all of a sudden when it's live on streaming sites, you're like, does not sound the same.
Yeah.
Not sad. This isn't the track. This isn't the track. Spotify got it wrong. Something happened here. It is. It's a versatile track too. It's a very versatile track. It's got great vocal piano energy, but a faster paced, deep house kind of boppy drop. And I think tracks like that, you really tiptoe the line of streamable and playable, which is very difficult to do in this day and age, because if you're thinking about a live set, especially in the house music world, it's got to have a really consistent beat. People like the vocals and stuff too, but if you want to be streamable, you need something to sing along to. And I think you really did a great job tiptoeing that line on this track.
Thank you. Yeah, it was like channeling the Oliver Heldens and the vibes a little bit.
Yes, I loved it. I loved it. Probably my second favorite track from you guys, and I already told you my first. Body, though. This is a heater again.
Let's check out this heater together. This one's called Body by the Two Fake Blondes off Game Room Records.
My body wants you here right now. My head keeps on turning it down. I don't have this quite figured out. I'm making love slowly. Your beats feeling lonely. My body, my body, my body, my body wants you here right now. My body, my body, my
Bouncy bass vibe, the vocal editing and processing, though. I mean, Pete, I got to ask you about this because this is what I kind of meant by like, you do it differently, but similarly in some of your tracks. Like Hannah, you record the vocals raw, right? Do you layer them? Like, what does it actually look like in the studio for you guys with songs like Body?
Yeah, this is a fun process. So we record them raw with nothing on them, which is good because at first I was like infatuated just like playing around with auto-tune.
Oh yeah.
And then
so
like
much fun.
There was a couple times in the beginning where I'd write something and then we went to re-record it with that. Like I was like, okay, obviously don't turn the auto-tune on when we're recording it. And I was like, crap, I can't do the things I was doing. So we're like, we have to make sure it's raw vocals. But what I love to, so we like lay down the vocals, the raw vocals, and then after Pete is like partially done with the track, we go back and do ad libs. And that I turn auto-tune on for because I can get so creative in my mind just for ideas before I'll actually do the raw vocal for it on just different runs and different parts. And I love doing ad libs. Ad libs is like a crazy, fun, a very intense, sometimes really intense process. Sometimes I get like very intense in the studio, but not in a bad way, but just like I have to focus like very hard because I really care about what I'm putting out.
It just makes me think, I remember we put out like an Instagram video like a year or two ago and you were doing ad libs and I was just like pretend singing along with you and you're just like in the moment.
I know. Yeah. Do all these weird like conducting hand motions.
Oh, that's a classic Hannah.
Time with it. Just all kinds
chopping the beat.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the vocals. We do the raw, we lay them down, then we end up doing the ad libs, laying down. We do the layering then.
And I would say too, like, well, along with Body, like after we recorded it, you know, we had like the piano chords and stuff in the intro, and like kind of going back to that emotional state, what we wanted the listener to be in. That's when I love to start messing around with like vocal effects, and I love using like the Waves CLA vocals. Like they have so many like cool little presets to get like just like the creativity going. And I think like when the song kicks off and like Hannah's voice has like a filter on it and a little bit of distortion, it fits like the mood of the track as well.
Yes.
And so I love doing that though, when we're working on music, messing around with different vocal presets and then like kind of tweaking from there and really capturing the emotion that's in like both of our heads.
Yeah, it is really good. It helps us get creative. And like I love to, like we were writing the other day, and while we were writing I was like, can you throw on like these two filters so I can see if this will feel right for when like for the ideas that are in my head. So I just they can make you feel like the auto tune too. Like you can do so many creative things that you can like reproduce naturally.
Yeah.
Vocals are fun.
Yeah. You guys sound like you're having a lot of fun in the studio and collaborating in a very special way too.
For sure. We definitely have like our day. Like we took us some time to like figure out.
I had no idea what I was doing with vocals. I had no idea.
No way. I consider you an expert sitting in this chair right now. I really.
Like my experience was like I specifically didn't work with top liners when I was doing my own stuff. I was like, I have no idea how to make vocals sound as good as David does.
Yeah.
So
classic tech house DJ. Yeah, there you go.
I know. I'm just making tech house music, man.
You're so good at it though. Like you do the vocals so much justice, and I always feel
it's been a lot of YouTube tutorials. And
YouTube University.
Really hard on it. Like you've really put in the work to make sure it's excellent. Also because like I'll make you make sure they're excellent.
Yeah. Well, again, I think that's what your expertise though, and you've been doing this for so long, and your voice is incredible. That I get to work with like the best vocalist on the planet. So
that's a
yeah. So
you guys are the best. Unbelievable. That's so cool though. And that track really is special. The last Game Room Records track though, Good For You. You mentioned this one earlier.
Let's check this one out. This one's called Good For You by the Two Fake Blondes of Game Room Records.
I'll admit it, I've been so spaced out, I'm feeling sad. Haven't been myself, wanna go back to the girl I was last year. Yeah, I was strong, so they tore me down, and it changed how I see myself. Wanted to rain and wash away my doubt. Yeah, 'cause there's something about you. Now I want you so bad, but I feel scared too. Something about you. So I wanna be greater the way that I love you. I wanna be good for you, good for you. I wanna be good for you, good for you. I wanna be, if I'm no good for me, then I'm no good for you. If I'm no good for me, then I'm no good for you. I wanna be something about you.
I want to ask Hannah about your songwriting inspiration. It sounds like you can go pretty far in the past to draw on ideas. Can you tell me about this track specifically and how you came up with the lyrics?
Absolutely. So this song was really written kind of about that moment I talked about previously. Like I went through that really awful breakup in 2016 and I had been just dating I was attracting the wrong people, like to be honest. Like I was just attracting the wrong kind of person. And then I was like, literally had the bathroom floor moment that I was like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I keep just this cycle over and over? And it was just that like, you got to touch bottom before you can push yourself back up to the top.
Yeah.
And I just had this feeling like it was really spiritual moment for me. And it was like, if I'm not good for myself, I'm never going to attract the person that I want to be good for me. Like it's never going to happen. And I remember immediately after I had that moment, like I signed up for like my first half marathon. Like I really started like working on myself and was like, I want to be ready for my husband, like who I want to be. So that's really where that inspiration came from. And I like to write on the piano a lot. I play guitar as well. But the piano inspires me so much for writing house music and dance music. So Good For You, actually, sometimes in my head, like I'll have a vocalist's voice. So Good For You actually felt very Elton John to me while I was playing it on the piano. It was kind of like staccato-y and kind of like, I still have the work tape from it, but it was just had this kind of like snap to it on like, Good For You. And it was just like a really cool thing. So I kind of had that playing through my head and I just stumbled around and ended up I kind of just sit down and like just kind of whisper, talk lyrics out in my head. And it was kind of got to this point, and I have it on the work tape that was like, if I'm not good for me, then I'm not good for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's good. That's really, really good. So I kind of just started putting this melody together and I wrote the song literally from my experience. Like it kind of felt like a diary entry to me, because I was in that exact moment in that song, and I love digging in the past to be able to help people going through like similar experiences.
Absolutely.
And Pete went through that too, like when we broke up. So when I usually, our process is like I'll come up with something like on the piano, and then I'll bring it up to him or bring it to him like in the studio in our session and be like, hey, what do you think about this idea? Like, what do you think about this direction? And so we'll talk together about like who the song's for and where we want it to go. And if we really like the content, if it like lines up with our brand, and then go from there on it. But I love Good For You. It's one of my favorite songs.
And that song was a work in progress. I mean, it took almost a year to like actually complete it. We have so many different versions of the track.
We have so many different versions of the track. We didn't really know.
Like arrangement wise, it's just like one of the tracks. I mean, I'm sure you can relate to. It's like some you can just kind of finish really fast, and others are just okay, something's not right. Let me give it a break for a month and come back and
and then we flipped it around in 48 hours, which was wild.
Had like a massive break. There we go. That's it. That's the one.
Eureka. That's awesome. Well, I sure am happy with how it turned out. It's a really, really special track.
Thank you. We are really proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. It's seriously, it's so special. Now we got to talk about my favorite track. I probably could have talked about this track the whole entire episode, but Lifeline.
Let's see if this one becomes your favorite track as well. This one's called Lifeline by the Two Fake Blondes.
Hey boy, it's been a while, feeling like the olden days. Man, I miss our golden days. Have you been doing fine? I miss when we talk all night. We were soaking up the light. I've been praying that you'll remember me when you're in the darkness. Wanna set you free. I've been praying that you'll see my face when you're in the midst of your hardest place. I've known you for a long time, not afraid to see your bad side. You can call me when you're not fine. I can be your lifeline. I've known you for a long time, not afraid to see your bad side. You can call me when you're not fine. I can be your lifeline. I've been praying that you'll remember me when you're in the darkness. Wanna set you free. I've been praying that you'll see my face when you're in the midst of your hardest place. I've known you for a long time, not afraid to see your bad side. You can call me when you're not fine. I can be your lifeline. I can be your
And before I ask you guys about it, compared to these Game Room Records tracks, you really, again, like tiptoed the line of like a deep house, Oliver Heldens, a piano house. This one stayed true to the soulful piano house throughout. Did this one have a lot of different versions too, or what was it? I bet it did. I knew it.
This is a long story one. Yeah, this one has. How many versions do you think we have of the song?
I don't know, 25 maybe. There's a
lot of different versions.
I think at one point I was like, I love this song.
It's like a tropical, like the
freaking tropical, like
we were like we're so glad we didn't release that.
No one needs to hear that.
Yeah.
But you have to try that. You have to get to that low point before you can bring it back.
Yeah, right.
So true. You can only go up from here. I feel you.
Yeah, exactly.
But you brought the idea of writing about wanting to be there for somebody in a really tough time.
For sure. Suicide prevention is something that's really been on our hearts. Like youth is a really big thing on our hearts. We both had different experiences like in our life with friends and family. And I was really overwhelmed with this idea of a phone call, like calling someone and checking in on them.
Yeah.
And I remember like the day that we sat down to write it, like it felt like emotional. It felt like emotional in the way that we need to be writing a song.
Yeah.
And so we really just came up with the concept of the story of actually being on the phone with someone and writing it like you're actually having the conversation with them.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So like, hey boy, it's been a while, actually talking to them, recording the conversation through the song.
Woo! I like it even more now. I love it even more now. Wow.
Yeah, totally. So it was, it was just that we wanted it to be that song that was like encouraging people to like call in, like check on people, like even if it's been a long time, like, not to be ashamed of like, well, I haven't made contact and the person's probably upset at that, or just call in and check in on people, like even if it's for a minute, or if you haven't talked in a really long time, like, just being able to do that. And so we wrote the song.
Well, I was gonna say we wanted the production to reflect that too. And I think
we did. We wanted it to feel like when it hit that chorus, like it released something, like it broke off some sort of like chain that somebody had. Like we wanted it to be like a breakthrough chorus. It's really important. But when we like made this original track for it. Oh my gosh. And like there's moments when it's like, I know I have to rewrite something. Like, crap. Like it's always hard for me, like rewrites, not necessarily doing it, but just mentally being like knowing that I have to, okay, this song needs a revision.
Yeah.
But it was like the original work tape compared to what it became. Like, I was so glad again that it evolved and that we changed things and just re-recorded it and took the time that it needed. But we had actually like shelved the project. Like we had the song. We had like we put it in bed. We were like, we put it in a box, put it somewhere far away because we had made so many versions. The vocals weren't right.
And that was hard. That was hard to do at first too, because
we loved the song.
We loved the song,
so
and we had put so much time into it. We're like, are we really just gonna like put it away? Like we've invested so much time into this. Can we just like track it? But we needed to.
We had to, and it just was like we need to put this song away. We need to just pretend like we're not gonna release it right now and just move on for now.
Right.
And so that was probably in what month was it of that year? February,
yeah.
So, and then it wasn't until actually we went on like a 2-week road trip. And that last half of the week, we were spending a lot of time in Park City and we had shut our phones off for 2 weeks straight. Yeah. Wow. We were kind of at that point with what was going on with music and like, the pandemic and everything, like, where are we right now? Like, what's next for us? Like, where are we headed? It's been a little bit of like a pause. What do we want to do? And we just started talking about Lifeline, and we're like, suicide prevention month's coming up. And what if we I'm getting like chills talking about it, because we were like, what if we just put it out ourselves? What if we do this campaign? What if we do all these graphics? What if we collaborate with these people and do remixes, and we like make this like a mission to really push this message of the song? And like we had just a few days left before we had to go home, and we were like so passionate about it. And we were like, it just felt right. It was like, okay, we're going to go home. We're going to finish the song and we're going to put together this whole release plan. And that's what we're going to do. And as soon as we got home, it wasn't but 2 days later that it all came together. We re-recorded the vocals. We changed some of the melodies and we did the production.
Just got it all. It all clicked. clicked. Yeah. And it was cool. It was cool getting to know, like, this is what it takes to release a song by ourselves and do all the marketing ourselves. The radio servicing, the playlisting. Like how intentional we could be. Like we sent out like mailers to we have 100 people on our mailing list at that time. And we sent out like stickers. We sent out a card. We sent out like just a whole like package basically to all 100 people. I love that.
Which we had so much fun. And we got to like do the remixes and like hear what Lifeline meant to those people and like the artists we work with. And it was just such a cool, like really like a movement and a moment for us for Lifeline.
The stripped down version too and everything. Like
totally. Yeah, we had a good time with that. And yeah, it was really, really great to be able to just know that we could move forward with our music if it was signed or not.
Yeah.
And then,
absolutely.
Yeah, being able to just be like, okay, doing stuff like this is what really gets us excited.
So
like this is really, and I think honestly, like Lifeline too was like in that moment we knew this was the vein of writing and what our brand needed to be was like hope, joy, like shifting atmospheres, shifting people's like breakthroughs, like where they're at, and that's Lifeline was really the gateway to that as well.
Yeah.
My gosh. I love this song 10 times more now. My heart, it's so full. That is so special, guys. Unbelievable. That's one of the best stories I've heard about a song ever, for sure.
That's awesome.
Whew. Yeah. I got a video editor named Suzette. Suzette, please clip that. We need that really bad. Thank
you. So cool. Yeah. We love that song. I remember too, like when we listened to the final draft of it, like in the final version of it in the studio, and like I was crying. And when the song really like hits me, I know that okay, this song's gonna do something. It's gonna really move.
Yeah.
You can feel like as a songwriter, like the emotion in it. So
we
felt really thankful for like we got so much support.
It was
from people,
amazing.
from radio. From blogs, like everywhere, people just like latched on and championed Lifeline
in the
much.
message of it, which was it was so cool. It was
who did the cover art?
Her name's Brooke O'Neill, and she's go ahead.
She's based out of she in Chicago?
I don't know, so don't put that in there. I don't remember where she's from. But she's super talented, and her drawings are absolutely incredible.
It was so awesome.
Yeah.
It just brought it all together. It was truly like the cherry on top.
Yeah, and that's really what we wanted. We wanted something that was like fun and like hopeful and kind of whimsical, but not too whimsical. And we sent her like all these ideas and just put it together in this folder and like sent her the pictures of us, and we're like, this is what we want. And then she literally created exactly what we wanted. We've worked with her several times since then, and she's incredible.
Wow. So cool, guys. What a great experience for you too as well. I think a lot of artists feel like they have to depend on a label. I won't release music unless it's on a label. It won't get the attention. Oh, there's a doggy.
I know. We go back to sleep.
Oh my God, what just came out of me? You saw my doggy side of me. Oh, there's we're gonna keep that in. That's good though. Seriously though, I really love that. I always love seeing a self-release because sometimes you just don't want to wait around for a label, and it's sometimes hard to deal with. And it's just like, I want to put this out to the world. This one's for me. And you guys did something so selfless. And I think selfless in the sense that you did it because you wanted to get it out there, not necessarily like it was for me, but such a special track, really.
Thank you so much. Like we're so glad you love it. And
I love it. I don't like it. I love it. Yeah.
Awesome.
In fact, where do I download it?
Oh,
you find it on Beatport. It's not on Beatport, is it?
I think it's on double check. I thought it was, but if not, I think it's definitely on iTunes.
Can I get the Tropical House version and I can play that out for you?
No one can ever get the Tropical House, because that was also before
we should use it as an NFT or something.
Yeah.
The Tropical House paired with the old vocals is what really makes it special.
It does. One day if we're in Chicago, we'll sneak peek or something.
I can listen on one old broken AirPod that went through the dryer. Yeah, sounds good.
I think we did put on Instagram though before and after of like a snippet of what the verse sounded like when I first wrote it, and then what it sounded like, and it's pretty drastic.
You can tell,
Unreal. So cool. What a great story, guys. Now, last but certainly not least, your big release on Bring the Kingdom, our man King Topher, a sub-label of Hexagon. What he's done with that label is incredible. In just a year, you hit over 5 million streams, put out so many different types of special house music, and your track Insecurities was a little bit different than some of your other tracks too. This one was a tech house bouncer.
It was.
This is
Let's check out this tech house bouncer together. This one's called Insecurities off Bring the Kingdom.
It was great too. And Hanny probably had a good time with the lyrics. I mean, I don't know how long it took you, but like, it's just perfect. Like they help the track really with pace. And I think that's so important with house music, because when it comes down to it, right, it's pretty, I don't want to call it cookie cutter, but it's 4 on the floor. You got a bass line, you got some percussion, you got lyrics, and it's hard to be unique within that space. But you guys did such a great job with making it special. I mean, no surprises that he took it, but what was it like putting this track together and then releasing on such a great label too?
I remember like, I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so much different than anything we've ever released.
I know.
Yeah, nothing.
One of the reasons why I fell in love with Pete's music is because of those deep house vibes. Like I love like Chris Lake. Like I love that kind of deep house vibes. Like I love it. So what happened was we had written this other song and Pete had just taken a piece from the verse of that song.
Yeah.
And he like created a whole track around it.
Yeah.
And so when I heard it, I was like, yes.
And we both like love how the drop like just hits you in the chest, you know?
It does, yes.
Yeah.
It really does.
Stabs, those stabs were like just absolutely incredible.
Yes.
And he totally loves that. And so Pete sent it to Bring the Kingdom.
Yeah. And that really started our relationship with Topher too. Like he was like, wow, like this is awesome. And we just got to know him, and he, got to work on the release with him too. And it was really cool. Just that whole experience, putting out and hearing the response too from that whole Bring the Kingdom and Hexagon family.
Yeah. Don Diablo supported it, right?
Yes, which was so cool.
So casual, guys. Yeah,
I know, right?
And I remember like when I was like 2011, 2012, like, first getting into it, the thought of Don Diablo like supporting a song, it was just like mind blowing. So it was so cool, 10 years later to like have that like fully accomplished. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. We love that song. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. And it was cool too, because like the lyrics from the song that he pulled it from was, I want you to believe it was my insecurities. And then Topher's like, what if we change it to, I want you to be free from all your insecurities.
Yeah.
And we were like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Loved the message, of course. And that's, what we wanted it to be for people.
And it has like a really cool dynamic in our live set.
Yes.
Like,
definitely.
So cool. Yeah. We love playing it out. So
I wanted like people to know like we can make like really cool like vocal, even like commercially, even a little bit like house music, but then we can also go like real deep and go like tech house and just hit them like
for sure
big bass. So
I love
that.
That's awesome. Props to that song. Props to Bring the Kingdom. Amazing, guys.
Absolutely.
That's the discography thus far. I can't wait to hear what we got coming out in the future. But you guys are not just incredible producers, you're incredible content creators, and I want to commend you and acknowledge you for that, because it's really tough to do as a creative. Especially, I know so many producers that are great at producing music and that's their superpower, but putting themselves on camera and starting a YouTube channel and TikTok, like that stuff's intimidating. And unfortunately, it's adapt or die these days if you want to make it in the music industry. And Hannah, you said it, your mom sat you down at 10 years old and said, you got to understand the business side of this.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like 70% business these days, and music will find a way eventually, but it's so important to understand. You got to have a brand, you got to have a good logo, you got to have content. And I love your guys' content, and you make it look easy because you just are yourselves. And that was a hard thing for me to overcome personally. For a long time, people made fun of me for having, I'm half Jewish. I had a squeaky voice. Like I didn't always have a beard and a cool haircut. In fact, the first fade I got was like my junior year of high school. And finally I was like, this is the look, not the Jew.
Yeah.
This is the look. Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah.
We had my hair cut every 2 weeks since. Yeah.
It took me a long time to be able to figure out what I needed to do with my hair until I was like,
yes, thank you. Right.
I understand that. I feel like we have a very similar.
We do. Yep. For sure. But when I realized, like, when I went through that time in college too, and saw who my real friends were, like, and people accepted me for who I am, that's when I was like, you know what? I have this ridiculous voice, but it's pretty unique, I guess. And I'm not going to try and change who I am. And I like being on camera, and I like making fun of myself, and I like doing that stuff. And like the content that I put out, like I have so much fun with it. And that's fun for me. If people like it, that's great. I'm happy about that. But like, I want to have fun forever. And I see you guys doing that. And it's really inspiring to me when you do your YouTube channel and you do your reels and you do the how-to videos. And I guess my question is, like, did you guys think in the beginning, okay, we got to come up with some fun ideas, like to not just be producers? And how do you actually come up with new ideas as well?
Well, I remember we talked about building a brand, like right when we started, like what do we want the Two Fake Blondes to be? Because it's not just music.
No.
Right. Like this whole brand that brings hope, joy, laughter, like just brings people into who we are and what we love.
Yeah. And I had been in the industry long enough that I knew that if we were going to really go for this, we needed to have a brand. And that we needed to have a product, a package, who we are, what we're doing, a story, to be able to really make an impact on the kind of fans and the amount of fans we want to have.
Yeah.
And so we knew that we just wanted to be creating content. And actually, this is funny, but when we started, we were like, we're going to do a YouTube video every single week. And we're going to do that so we can introduce ourselves. Well, we started this YouTube channel. We actually had like 600 views on like the first, like, I don't know,
4 or 5, 10
videos, maybe 6 or 7 videos.
Nice.
Like, I was like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
And then one day,
it changed.
One day I went to delete a draft and I clicked the select all button on accident and I deleted our entire YouTube channel.
Oh.
Every single video was gone. And I was like, I was like, no, like I was in just total disbelief. I was like, are you seriously? And like, also I have been working in Premiere. I don't know if you've worked in
very familiar.
And that has given me like the biggest headache in my entire life.
Yep.
It took me like 12 hours to create 1 3-minute video.
Oh my gosh. Why do you think I hired a video editor? I mean, mountains out of molehills. Yeah.
And so the whole thing got deleted off of YouTube. And it was like,
and we couldn't get it back because you have to have like
1,000 subscribers, and we had like 5.
Yeah,
but we had like a bunch of views, so it all got deleted. So that really sucked. But we definitely, like, even in the beginning, we wanted people to know who we are. Like we're husband and wife. We like to have fun. We like to make fun of ourselves. We like to bring joy. Like it's not just the music. Like we wanted people to put a face to the music that they were listening.
Absolutely.
So we work really hard on the content, and it takes a lot of work. I design everything we do. I create everything we do. I put together everything we do.
It's really, And I'm like, just there supporting. That looks great.
And poor Pete, I'll be like, can you do this video? And then I'll watch it and be like, can you do it again? But we've like learned, the cool thing is like we
figured out our strengths.
Yeah, because like we do run this like a business. Like we have the marketing side, we have business strategy, we have pitching, we have our radio plans. Like we have all this stuff that we do for our music. And we've learned over time, like he's really good at A, B, and C, and I'm really good at A, B, and C. And so we don't need to force each other. We can both get better at those things that we were more weak in, but we can just like, you are responsible for this stuff. I'm responsible for this stuff. Let's make peace with that. Let's agree to that. And then it makes everything like just run really smoothly.
Yeah.
Right.
But we try to do like for content, it's like we try to have like some content pillars. Like we like to post some inspirational stuff. We like to post about our music. Let's just say those. And then we like to post like stuff about traveling. So we try to make sure we're like sprinkling some of all of that in. And then like trying to schedule some posts if we can, and trying to come up with content, because it can feel overwhelming, especially when you're like, trying to show up every day. Do I need to be here on every day? Instagram will show your story to 200 people and then it will be 25 people the next day.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out just kind of the game you have to play with that, or like, and even when we first started, like, do we need to be doing reels? Do we need to be on TikTok and Instagram and reels and Facebook? Yeah. What's macro content? What's micro content? It's like we had to take time to like figure out
where people were at too. And I feel like we really found that with Instagram. And
we love Instagram. That's definitely our platform right now, is like being able to do the video, photos, and like share.
Just connect.
Connect with people too. Yeah. It's been really good. So I always like really am thankful for the compliments on the content, because those days where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like those content creation days sometimes, or it's like, okay, at least I know that people like what we're doing. So it helps fuel me in the days where I'm just like, there's so much content to be made.
Yes.
I
know what you mean. And I think one thing I always try and tell the people that are struggling with that is understand that each social media platform has its own audience. Like some people do really well on Twitter. They don't know why. We don't know why. Twitter doesn't know why. Some people do really well on Instagram. Some people we've seen on TikTok, they do incredibly well, right? And Facebook and all these other social media apps, Snapchat. And it's like, it's important to always have your brand available across those. And I think we can all agree Spotify is a social media platform in and of itself.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It absolutely is. So it's all these things to master, and YouTube, of course, too. And it's like, where is my audience? But most importantly, what do I enjoy using the most? And you don't always have to feel like I got to create this content. I have to do this new concept. Listen to what you guys just did. You already love traveling. You just record yourself traveling. You already love spreading joy. You just
Exactly.
Yep. So I wanted to ask you guys that, because I know it's not easy, but I don't want people to think they have to reinvent the wheel of content creation here.
No, for sure.
No. And you don't just have to box yourself in. If you like, you don't just have to be, a music producer or an artist. You can incorporate, all those other, if you love playing Nintendo, talk about it.
Yes, exactly.
Other people will probably like it too.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of the other things too that's been really important for us is we don't care about, not that we don't care, but it's not the right word, but we don't measure our Instagram success by how many likes we're getting.
Yes.
It's more so how many impressions as well. Like we're actually looking at the insights and seeing the impressions, but we, at the very beginning, we're like, this is not what this is about.
Yeah.
And anyway, and I also think like if 25 people that just liked our photo were standing in our living room, we'd have a packed house.
Yeah, nice. I like that.
I'm down. It's like 10 people were standing outside our window being like, hey, will you sing for us? And that's what's on our stories or something. We're like, hey, that's awesome. There's
your dog's super confused though. Like, why are there 25 people in our house? I love that though. You got to just keep having fun with it and not put too much pressure on yourself. Comparing is just the death of all creatives, because it's so easy, especially like Petey, when you're becoming a DJ and you're seeing like you put your sights on Skrillex, I'm going to be Skrillex. And then you get to a level and you're like, well, why did that guy get that gig or that girl get that gig instead of me? And it happens in music too. How did they get on that playlist? I think my song's better. It's just like, worry about yourself and have fun with it.
For sure.
Exactly.
I think if you can accept that there's room for everyone.
That's the biggest thing.
You really can say the world is so huge. And you get a core belief that you actually believe and think. There's space for everyone. It makes life a lot easier.
I learned that from dance music too. Like shortly after I got into it, like, and even still now, like hearing even techno producers from like Berlin that are like, selling out like massive crowds. I've never, it's like there's room for everyone, and it's cool like to be able to have that perspective of gratitude. Like I still get to do this, and I can still be happy for this person as they accomplish that, because I know I'm still on the right path.
For sure.
Absolutely. On that note, I want to ask you guys kind of where we're at right now in the electronic music industry, and maybe just the music industry in general. I know, at least in house music, in my experience, it's been the most collaborative and welcoming that I've ever seen. And I think, for better or for worse, the pandemic put a lot of people's brands and themselves in perspectives. People started labels to give other younger artists platforms like Bring the Kingdom. That was the initial goal. You guys ever heard of Hood Politics Records or Vibrancy before? These people are willing to work with each other in such a unique and special way. And I feel like I haven't seen that. And my question to you guys, you mentioned somebody like Chris Lake You look at Chris Lake and Fisher, right? Like they're some of the top billed acts in the world. And you look at somebody like David Guetta and Alesso. David Guetta literally has a alias called Jack Back to make tech house, right? So it's like where house music is a really special time. But like, I just want to get your opinion on where you think it's at right now and where it might be going in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I think the collaboration aspect is really cool because I think that, again, that was one of the most appealing things about dance music to me, whether it was like with song structure, there was so much freedom, but also just with like the collaboration and the openness.
Yeah.
To want to, you know, to see like, I don't know, I think of like Skrillex and Diplo, like how they came together and formed Jack U, and that was like mind blowing at the time.
Yes.
And we're seeing that constantly now with like, just like you said, Chris Lake and Fisher. So
yeah,
I love that collaborative, like just aesthetic right now. And I just, I mean, I would hope that just keeps continuing. I could see it continuing, you know. I think it's bringing a lot of good into the industry, giving people opportunities. And even just like seeing what the stuff that like Hood Politics has done too. Like we've seen some of the videos you posted.
Yes.
And it's been cool seeing like, you know, a lot of artists that, you know, some who were familiar, some who were not, but like just getting the chance to all be together, perform and have a great time. I think that's so special.
Yeah. What about from a music production standpoint? Because we're hearing sounds like we've never heard before. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's yeah, I know. It's interesting. I have no idea, honestly, where it's going to go, but
there's no right answer. That's for sure.
You know, but I look at people like Skrillex and I think I have so much respect for him too, because he's always just like in his own lane saying like, I'm going to put this out because it's cool. I'm going to put this out because it's cool. I'm going to work with anyone who I want to work with. And so I think having that attitude, and even for us, like having that attitude to be like, you know, we're going to put out what feels true to ourselves. And whether that's writing with some other people or writing just like the two of us, I think that's when the music can be like the most powerful.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's cool to see like, feel like there's endless possibilities as in someone like me who's come from like totally different genre.
Yeah.
Like it's been, to me, I'm like so fresh into like the dance.
You fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
So to me, it's so cool to see all this music coming out and like what we've been able to do and how we can like do, you know, the more tech house stuff and the more housey stuff and like, you know, just have like kind of an unboxed kind of space to do it in. So it's really awesome. I feel honored to be a part of the dance music industry, and actually I've felt like very, very accepted and very I think the dance music industry is like been really friendly overall, and it's been really an incredible industry to be a part of so far.
For sure. Who have you been inspired by recently, Hannah?
Chami.
Yeah.
Wow, you didn't even wait a second right there.
No, as far as dance music, I would say Chami. I discovered what album is it that I've been listening to?
Year Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listened to that thing from front to back. I mean, over and over and over again, and just the creativity, and the way that the vocals are done and the vocal chops is just like, I was like, who is this? Who am I listening to?
God, yeah, no, I totally agree.
Oh my gosh, just absolutely incredible. So that's an album like I love. We love listening to like all different genres of music, and I get inspired by like from songwriting perspective, like from a lot of different genres and influences. But as far as dance music, Chami is definitely one of my favorites right now.
Yeah, I love Galantis too. Again, it's like that, their ability like with vocals and house music. And I mean, they can get so flashy with how they produce, but it's so incredible to me because it's like not a lot of sounds, but everything they put in there is just like,
so tight.
It's so tight. Dynamic. I mean, they freaking work with Dolly Parton. And
I know.
Like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That song.
That Faith is such a good song.
That is such a good song. That is such a good song. And I love that dance music can take people from like country music or different genres and bring it in to their music. Like it's so cool to me. Like it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
They're really special. I agree. It's just, there's no limits, and there never was really, but now it's just there, like you said, unboxed, Hannah. Like I couldn't have said it better myself. There's really not even a word for it, but it's just
like unboxed.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. It's so cool. And I mean, you see people like Galantis is a great example. They'll collaborate with Nightmare. I mean, you see people like Chami, who'll collaborate with Zoo, and they come together, and the fusions of styles are, I mean, It's insane. Sound design these days, I can't even compete, man. I'm just like, I'm a percussion guy. I can do the toms and the drums, but some of the, I mean, that's that new Skrillex song. I think it's called Inversions.
Yeah.
I was like, what is?
I was walking in the middle of the street and I blacked out. I like my. Whoa!
Am I alive right now? Like
seriously though.
Insane.
Just reminding me too of like the genius of like Beethoven or something, where you can string all these pieces and ideas and sounds, or like Freddie Mercury, which I still think such an incredible Bohemian Rhapsody. It's the way amazing. That it was like 6 different songs meshed into one, like, and it flowed, and it's like it works as one piece of art. It's incredible, and it's so cool to see people that are able to take such different dynamics and come together and then make it into something.
Well, I think of too, like when I first heard of Chami, he was doing like this really like harder, like future house sound. And it was cool, but I wasn't like super into it. Then when I heard like the song he did for Lady Gaga off her album.
Chromatica. I got that on vinyl, y'all. I got that on
vinyl. Yeah, true fan right there.
I'm a big Lady Gaga fan. Yeah.
She's amazing. But she's an artist too who's like collaborating with Zed, Madeon, Chami, and is always making this like futuristic, I don't know, like really cool dance.
Or like, didn't she collaborate with Tony Bennett too? Isn't that his name?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, it's like
everybody.
She's all over.
No rules.
No, there's no rules at all.
Unboxed. This is our new podcast, Unboxed.
I like that. I can talk to you guys every week. That's for sure.
That'd be dope.
What's up, everybody? We're Unboxed.
Wow. That was a little bit of magic right there.
Yep.
That's the elevation out there. I think that's what it is. It's getting.
I don't know. We're at sea level, so.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's change it to actually called we're at sea level, and I'm in Chicago at sea level, and you're out there in sea level.
Yeah. That's good.
We'll keep working on. Let's keep hashing it out. I think Unboxed is probably good, but I wanted to add some sort of value. You guys seemed like you're going to do great, and I was just going to sit in the back. I'll be the cameraman. How about that?
Oh man.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. You guys are so much fun. What can you tell me about what's coming up for you over the next few weeks and few months? New music, shows, whatever you got.
Shows are going to be rolling out soon for us. So announcing those soon.
Yes.
Very excited. Music
as well that we can't say yet, but
knew it.
Yeah.
Yep. Worked on a lot of music this year.
Yeah.
So we're very excited about that season of music to release it out into the world.
Yeah.
It's very excited.
But for right now, we're enjoying Good For You, and you know that it's getting. We just saw it got a couple of plays from a big radio station, C89.5, which we love them.
Yeah.
And so we've gotten some more people like supporting it on Spotify. So loving like the love that song's getting.
Yeah.
Sharing that out.
For sure.
It's amazing, guys. Congratulations to you on all the momentum you've built up. And you guys really, really are doing something super special. And it's just awesome to connect with people who are so passionate about what they do. And I admire that a lot. I really do.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. This has been like such a fun conversation.
I know. Yeah.
You want to keep talking, huh?
Yeah. It's like, you want to do it? You want to go 3 hours? Let's go 3 hours.
No, even in Joe Rogan, they go pee. I got to pee. Sorry, we got to end this. They get up in the middle of that podcast too. It's okay.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. No, but thanks again. Like, you know, this has really been amazing. We're so thankful to again have this opportunity to talk with you and just to have this. Yeah,
it's been so
you guys are great. You got a big fan here in Chicago, that's for sure. And I really do need Lifeline wave format intro outro. PD, help DJ out, bro.
Well, it sounds like maybe you need it on vinyl too.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, I'm really into vinyl. Actually, it's coming back for me. I got all of my mom and dad's vinyls. I have Fleetwood Mac. I'm looking at right now. I got the original Michael Jackson Thriller. You mentioned Elton John. I'm gonna listen to that for sure. Saturday Nights for Fighting, baby. I love that track.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fired up. I don't know why it gets me so fired. That's my like pregame song.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Vinyl has made me appreciate music in such a different way. Growing up in a digital age, right? Like just downloading a track. Like we grew up in the LimeWire and LiveWire age.
What I would do to be able to take some CDs to shows.
I know.
Sling some CDs at the end. I mean, come on. Those were the good days.
Those were so good.
Those were days.
I know. Sign the album.
Oh, yeah. I just found a CD that I burned for my girlfriend like a long time ago. The track list is like horrendous. It's
hilarious.
It's so random. And it just is like, we got Kelly Clarkson, like... Breakaway. Yeah. I'll spread my wings and I'll learn. Like, was I trying to impress her with that song? Really? I did something right, I guess. Doing my best out here, guys.
That's so funny. I have some of those CDs as well. And I always like help like draw pictures on them and make some like cheesy name for them.
Oh yeah. Burning CDs was like CDs for your own car when you guys got your first car. That was like the coolest thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Your own mix.
Yeah. And then you have the tracks memorized, like you skip through, you're like, I gotta get 3. No, now it's time for 7.
Yep.
I actually remember my brother and I we had like this stereo system. Remember when stereos were cool? Like, Mom, I want like stereo.
Yeah, the copper wiring and like,
and they like hang them on your wall. They're like this big.
It's so heavy, yeah.
But we would put like a blank tape in the tape recorder and then listen to the radio and then press record when the song would come on and then press stop and then wait for the song we like to come on and then press record again and try to make tapes.
Yeah.
We're aging ourselves. You want me to do it? VCRs when you have to rewind it and you got to hit stop and then rewind because it rewinds faster.
Yep.
Well, no, it wasn't like that long ago. That's what the crazy.
It wasn't that long ago. Yeah, you're right.
It really wasn't.
It's not that old.
Oh, don't get me started on the Game Boy Color days. Those were.
I had a Game Boy that was black and white.
Yep. Still got
old school, the gray one. You talking about the OG?
Got it, man.
With the purple buttons, I can still play Kirby on it.
Yep.
Oh, you legend! Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It's like this
it's
large,
huge,
3 inches thick.
It's like it was like a zombie apocalypse weapon. Like you could kill a zombie with the original game.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's like a brick.
The thing is,
chuck it at it, for sure.
Pull on our dog, Malachi. Can you get off the bed, please? Can you go? He's like growling.
He's getting upset too. He's like, zombies?
I know. He's like, only at him.
It's probably dinner time for him, isn't it?
I know.
Oh yeah, probably.
Like my watch.
Oh no! Do you guys say dinner? Because if I say dinner to my dogs at home, they freak out.
Yep, he knows.
Dinner.
He called.
He said winner.
Oh my gosh. This has been such a fun interview, guys. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And I'm so excited for people to hear this one too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to hang with you.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Definitely gonna happen. Excited. Much love, guys. I'll talk to you very soon, okay?
Alrighty.
Bye.
Man, do I love Sherm in the booth. Oh, hey, I think you do too. Hope you enjoyed that piece of content. If you're looking for more, make sure to go to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any upcoming Sherm in the Booth interviews, live sets, new music, exclusive artist interviews, Sherm's Word, sub-pack reviews, and more. This is your one-stop shop for everything entertainment. Cheers.